Hi everyone, Lillian the Vegan here with a recipe for roti. And as you probably know, rotis are a flatbread that you tend to eat a lot with curries. You might see them on a menu in an Indian restaurant. With my half Fijian background, I have made and eaten my fair share of rotis. But what I never do is put a lot of fat into them, and I know that most restaurants do, and when they don't, they tend to be a little bit on the dry side. So my recipe for roti is very simple. I'm going to use white flour today. You can substitute some of the white flour for rye flour if you like, but I find these come out soft, yummy. They go with anything you eat them with. So try it first with just plain flour. Don't use bread flour, use plain flour. So I'm using 300 grams of plain flour, to which I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. I always use sea salt, and give that a bit of a stir. There's only 4 ingredients in this recipe. Give that a stir. Add 1 tablespoon of canola or vegetable oil. I'm using canola oil, and 200 mils, 1 cup of boiling hot water. I've already boiled it, so it's really hot. Put that in all at once. And I found using a spatula, this is actually my rice spatula, I found using this works. So get some sort, try using, I'm using a plastic spatula that's used for rice. Give it a stir, and it's going to come together very quickly. You want it to form a bowl. A ball, not a bowl. You want it to form a nice ball, and once that has happened, then you can start forming them into little balls and get them ready for rolling out. This is going to take, there is no kneading involved in this recipe, no kneading. All I'm doing is just combining the flour and the boiling water that I put in. So that's why it's taking a bit of time. It'll take a couple of minutes to get this happening. And remember, you're using hot boiling water, so be careful once you put your fingers in to form it into the balls. I do this all the time, so I know that it's hot, but hot enough for me to handle, unlike some other things. So that's pretty much incorporated. Again, sorry for the bad quality in my videos, but it's looking something like that. Once the flour has sort of disappeared into the dough, at this point you can just sort of scrape off the excess dough that's gathered on your spatula and get your hands in there. It's fine, it's not that hot anymore, it's fine. You won't burn yourself or anything, but do be careful, having said that. And it's almost it's almost formed a bowl now, so a little bit more, we should be there. This is so easy because it's not like bread where you have to knead it and you have to get out your bread machine and do all that. So I love rotis, and when I make them, I make like 50 or so. This recipe will make 8, depending on the size of the rotis that you want. I make 8 out of this 300 gram flour recipe dough. And yeah, that's it. It's soft. I'll just do that. It's soft, it's warm. There is nothing left in the bowl except the remnants of some flour. Right, now what you're going to do is get one of these bread cutters or a knife, whichever you prefer. I like to use my bread cutter because then I don't have to worry about cutting myself with a knife. And you want to divide that into 8 pieces. Cut it like a cake, like you would a cake. And then all you're going to do is roll them into little balls, which I'll do now. There's one. These are still warm, as I said, because of the boiling water that I used. So once you've rolled them into you've divided them into the 8 pieces and formed balls, you're going to cover that with some saran wrap and put the dough into the fridge. It needs to cool down, otherwise it's just going to stick to your counter when you try and roll them out. So that is it. That took, what, a couple of minutes? Easy peasy, Japanesey. And I've got my beautiful 8 roti balls, still warm. Cover with the saran wrap and place into the fridge for 30 minutes should be enough before rolling. Okay, so I've got my friend Acor here helping me, and what she's done is just taken one of the rotis that were chilling in the fridge for half an hour or so. They're firm now and they're no longer warm like they were when we just rolled them up. So using the same plain flour, remember we're using plain flour, not bread flour, do the same thing as you did with the pita breads. Just flour the balls and then roll them out. Okay. So we're rolling the rotis out to, I just discussed this with my friend, and we're thinking around like 20-25 centimetres. You don't want them too thick. So they're the same thickness as the pita breads, and they're the same cooking method, just bake in the fry pan, no oil. Yeah, that looks about right. So I'd say that's about 30 centimetres, 25?
25?
Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, Acor's just putting the first roti into the hot fry pan, and the heat, I'll show you, is on medium heat. It's exactly the same cooking method as the pitas that I did in a different video. So once the rotis start to bubble, that should happen in a few seconds, then you know they're ready to turn over and brown the other side. There's no extra oil going into these fry pans at all.
Yeah. Bubbles.
Yep, it's starting to bubble, yep, so Acor can turn that over. Yes, that's what you want. You want that nice brown colour. That's exactly how they should look. A couple of seconds on this side and then that roti's done.